This is Civic Cypher. I'm your host, Ramses Ja. My guest today is Dr. Camilla Westenberg. And I wanted to take a moment to discuss something that happened this week in Atlanta. And it was, there were 8 people killed by a shooter. So, it was a mass shooting. And 6 of those people were Asian. Now, a lot of folks may not know this, but before I sat down to do this show, I spoke with my older brother. For those who are fans of boom bap hip hop, my older brother, his name is Raka, or Ira Science of the Dilated Peoples. And just big brother to little brother, he told me something that was very profound. He said, make sure that you know that you're not the only one. You might have to go first, but you're not the only one. There are other people who might not be able to have a voice, a platform, a stage, and you have to be able to look out for those people too. And that's something that was echoed to an incredible degree last year with respect to this We Rise in Solidarity language that I heard so much when we were protesting. And then, of course, out on the streets, we saw, again, approximately, if I'm guessing, 10% black folks out there. 90% of humanity showed up. All colors, all languages, all faiths, religion, everything. Human beings showed up for their African American brothers and sisters. And so it is a privilege and an honor to be able to bring attention once again on this show, because this is not the first time that we're doing this, but to bring attention to the issues that are affecting our Asian American brothers and sisters. And it feels like I'm fulfilling my promise to my brother to be able to use a black space to lend some time to what my Asian brothers and our Asian brothers and sisters are going through. Now, for those of you who don't know much about the story, somebody walked into some massage parlors. 6 Asian women lost their lives, and there were 2 other people that lost their lives that were not Asian, is my understanding. But it feels very targeted. And that's what I want to say. And the mayor of Atlanta. So what happened is the police came out and says that it's not racially motivated. I guess the shooter himself said that it's not racially motivated, for whatever that's worth. The way that they're trying to chronicle the story is that somehow this is a result of this guy's sexual frustration or something like that, right? These massage parlors and so forth. But really what it is these are people, low wage workers, and whatever. But and the mayor, kudos to her for standing up for these people, saying that we're not going to let any victim blaming take place, or victim shaming take place. There's no reason to think that these weren't
establishments
legitimate businesses. Exactly. And so kudos to her for saying that. But regardless of what this person's intentions were, I want to use this time to say that this past year, the previous administration put a target on the back of our Asian brothers and sisters by calling it the China virus.
He did.
And the truth is that there's a lot of uneducated people that live in this country, and a lot of people who have not traveled. I've traveled. I've been to China and Thailand and Indonesia and Vietnam and Singapore and Malaysia and I was out there. These are different groups of people. But if you say China, Chinese, anything, there's people that think it's all one group of people, right? But it doesn't matter, because even if it is, even if everyone's Chinese, the way that man described it made it seem like it was these people's fault. And so I can use this moment to speak to the pain, perhaps, that is being endured by my Asian brothers and sisters, having to read this. These are people that wept with me when we saw George Floyd lose his life. They marched and they yelled Breonna Taylor's name. And so for me, I think it's important to bring attention to that, to say that we do stand with you. We condemn that on every level, and that we are always going to champion a fair narrative for
prior to this happening, to the shooting that took place at the 3 establishments, there had been a series of instances where people were going up and knocking down and shoving down Asian elderly individuals. It was the saddest thing. Men and women, the elderly.
Oh yeah, we talked about
just
that.
going and just shoving them. I mean, it hurts me to think about it. And then you had this to happen, and recently, my understanding is statistically, there have been more complaints as it relates to women. Now, think about it. As African Americans, we've been a target all along.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, we know that. Well, we've been a target. But you have a female who is vice president, a female, okay? And she is of Asian descent. And then you have him talking about the China virus. How about that? And you have this huge cohort of people who will believe absolutely anything that is said. Okay, then that to me is half of the story there. And I just want to very quickly say, this business of not believing in science. For anyone who does not believe in science, you don't get in a helicopter that science was used to decide or determine that device, that machinery is going to work, and go into a hospital that is grounded on scientific discovery, and then come back out to the world and say, I don't believe in science. Then I say to any people, you need to start thinking.